Okay, round 2 here against Anal. Hi, good luck. Thanks. Oops, thanks. You too. Alright, yes, I do want to play first. And we gotta keep. Not awesome against an aggressive deck, but we definitely don't want to mull. We can play our War Leader's Helix and our Millennial Gargoyle. Let's see if my opponent drops down to 6. Hopefully not, so we got a sweet game going. Good, we do. Play the mountain first. Into one of our 1 or 2 drops? No, which is fine. Didn't really expect that. Yeah, we'll just get our Clue Stun on, and then a Gargoyle and or War Leader's Helix if we need to get rid of something real quick, which right now we don't. We'll see how that goes. Hello, Dimir. I'm actually scared of Dimir, even though it's pretty widely considered a very weak color combination, even of course from Gatecrash, but even right now in Dragon's Maze. But that's why it scares me, since no one really plays into it. There are some really powerful spells and great synergies in the deck that, if you get it going, it's quite frightening. Okay. Aw, Flailer would have been awesome. But alas. Anyway, my opponent will Divination, and I will play more spells. I guess it doesn't really matter what I play here. We're just going to go ahead and get the Gargoyle out. So at least we can start, putting some pressure on the opponent. Start fighting back, as it were. Cinderella is still a little more late game than anything else. Do I have Smite? Do I? Do I? You don't care, because of course Gutter Skulk. You'd be happy to trade for a Smite over something else you might have. So let's see, what does my opponent play on turn 5 after having a nice grip? Ooh, Corpse Blockade. And Fairy Imposter. Okay. Gonna bounce the Corpse Blockade? Yep. Alrighty, so some decisions to be had. I can offer the trade with Millennium Gargoyle, or get my Hired Torturer down. I kind of naturally just want to get a War Leader Helix against the Imposter and start bashing in, but I'm not aggressive, so I think I do need to hold back a little bit. And because of that, we played the Hired Torturer to kind of get rid of this Gutter Skulk. We can take some more damage with our little life gain coming up soon enough, so we'll play our Torturer and just pass the turn. Signaling to my opponent, possibly I don't want to do my Clue Stone, but wanted to tap the plains so my opponent can maybe doubt whether or not I was intentionally doing that or maybe made a misclick. So my opponent doesn't entirely know what's happening. Ooh, the Elocutors. Okay. Interesting. So does my opponent? My opponent just doesn't attack. That's very good for me. Cool, and since we drew the Augur Spree, we can actually do a little bit more aggression here. Like we can go ahead and Augur Spree the Fairy Imposter and start attacking in so the Elocutors aren't a big deal. Mind you, the Elocutors could bash in. Do I have a way to get rid of it right now? Not really. These really max out at 4, which is why Elocutors are so sweet. I think I'm more interested in having the Augur Spree left up. Man. Well, we'll be cycling the Clue Stone late enough anyway. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and start bashing here. Augur Spree the Fairy Imposter and start getting in for 2. I can F6. I didn't realize my opponent, or wasn't paying attention that my opponent was tapped out. We'll leave up this Boros Cluestone. Pretty sure I don't want to crack it, although cracking it, yeah, no, I mean, we have one of our 7 drops. If we draw the other guy, the leader, that's just going to be insane. So we'll hang on for now. But would love a land to get the Minotaur Aggressor on board. We know Corpse Blockade is in hand. Ooh, that's a good card. We are going to Lightning Helix that guy for sure. Okay, well, we'll just have a free block here. And then we take 3. That's exactly what I'm talking about, though, about Dimir. Super strong cards that a lot of people don't really play. Man, if we just had that one more mana, we'd be able to play in all these 3s with our 4s, but alas, we do not. We'll go ahead and do the War Leader Helix now. Dispel is up. But I don't think my opponent's going to be tapping out anytime in the near future anyway. So I think, unfortunately, now is the time to do this. Which makes it very hard, but I think it's the right play. Dispel? Please don't have Dispel. Yeah, no Dispel. Alright, cool. That doesn't mean the Elocutor is going to be hard to deal with, but right now we're winning the flying race a little bit. And soon we'll have double blocks available, or even just a Cinder Elemental to get rid of it. So that's fine. Our opponent can't attack with Gutter Skulk anymore, so that's okay. And we'll late game out this Higher Torture. Ooh, plus a Corpse Blockade. But I still get at least one more attack in with my Millennial Gargoyle. Ooh, Void Wielder. Okay. Tempo. Hit. Interesting. I almost would have gone ahead and just bounced the Higher Torture to get 5 damage in. That's really an odd attack right there. Not too sure what my opponent was thinking there. I just got to eat his dude. Very peculiar. Yeah, we'll just use up all of our mana. Because we do get a sweet attack in with the Minotaur Aggressor. And then we have multiple plays next turn, including possibly cycling if we want. Though I doubt I'll probably just play the Gargoyle and the Warmind Infantry. So it looks like my opponent's trying to decide, take it or do a chump. Ended up taking it. Cool with that. We're taking possibly 5 this turn. I mean, it should be 5. Corpse Blockade is going to come on down. But we have quite a bit of pressure up as well, and then we'll have 2 more creatures to play. Could end up being correct to play Cinder Elemental as well as Warmind Infantry, so that I have the Cinder Elemental up for removal next. Yep, we take 3 here. No need to get rid of the Higher Torture yet. It'll chump away as needed. There's that Corpse Blockade we knew about, which is a bummer because it does get the Cloudfin Raptor online. And now my opponent can triple block the Minotaur Aggressor. And then I'm just trading a 1-for-1. But the Minotaur Aggressor will hold back the Elocutors. Here we are. A little more action. Yeah, I think the right play now is to play the Cinder Elemental and the Warmine Infantry, so we have a lot of options for us. We are taking another 2 in the air, but at the moment we can't deal with it, which is why it's even better to get the Cinder Elemental online. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then having another 2 spells after that is going to be pretty sweet. And even then, Higher Torture we might be hanging around because that 2 life might be the finisher in the long run. We're not attacking here. All we have is a Minotaur Aggressor, and we're not going to trade it for one of these guys. That's fine. And we have 6 just being smashed in thanks to Cinder Elemental on its own. So there is an option just to attack in with Minotaur Aggressor and everything, keep Cinder Elemental back, and if we get a couple points of damage in, it's going to be pretty good with a Higher Torturer backup. Though I think the best line of play without variance is Cinder Elemental, the Cloudfin Raptor. Get rid of that, and then start winning the air. Although now we have Explosive Impact, so that's pretty cool. What does that do? If I attack in with Minotaur Aggressor, if my opponent blocks everything, I'm still just doing a 1 trade, but my opponent has to triple block. With having Corpse Blockade sacked, it's probably not that great. We'll just hang on to it. I think we apply more pressure with 4, 5... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we just get our dudes down. My opponent knows about this one anyway. And then we'll hang on to the Cackler because it's not doing much. And until we clean up this board, it's not going to do a whole lot anyway. And this actually allows me to have a little bit with Cinder Elemental should a removal spell of some sort comes through. And I think Explosive Impact's going to get us here. A little worried about discard. We don't see a lot of it in the format, but my opponent's playing the cards that play it, so. It's 5 or more. Okay, so I have to do damage somewhere in the near future. I'm not worried about it. I mean, I have Explosive Impact, Cinder Elemental, a Flyer, so we should be okay. But something certainly to care about. Okay. My opponent not doing anything is definitely good for me. So we can do 7 to the face this turn with Cinder Elemental by itself. If we attack with everything and have Explosive Impact back, Elocutors would have to go here, then my Millennial Gargoyle gets eaten. I think we just do a 2-turn kill, where we do Cinder Elemental at the end step, and then Higher Torture or something, and then save these guys. Is this extra mana gonna matter? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it won't. So let's go ahead and cycle actually right now. And we have a Clue Stone, which is okay, but of course we're not looking to. If we had a 4 mana up, we'd be fine. But cool. So we'll go ahead and pass the turn, and then we're probably just gonna do Cinder Elemental to the face, and then on end step, and then Explosive Impact to the face. If my opponent has a counter spell, that gets pretty ugly. So, this is... One source deals damage to you. Okay. So the Higher Torture isn't going to get it. So the Elocutors are kind of threatening a win here. But I think we'll do Center Elemental next turn for 1, 2, 3, 4, for 6. Get my opponent down to 4. And then we have a number of backup plans to get there. We'll actually get my opponent down to 2. Okay. See what the attacks are, if anything. Hopefully we'll see something relevant to care about. Actually, hopefully we won't see anything relevant. It won't give us a lot of information, but then we'll know that there's a dead card in my opponent's hand. Reveal a card at random from your forehand. Ooh, Ascendant Law Mage. So my opponent's stuck on white. That makes me a lot less scared. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Interestingly, would have had a kill with this Elemental if I had actually drawn that. But I think we're just A-okay going like this. I don't think there's a prevention spell in these colors that my opponent can have, and we just need to make sure an Elocutor removes a filibuster counter so that we don't lose to that fun, weird ability. And then we should be good. My opponent's at 1, still has blocks, so we gotta hang out. And just wait till next turn. We don't have to show the explosive impact. We'll just use Higher Torturer to round out the game. A little surprised and a little worried that we were playing this opponent who had Ascendant Law Mage. That certainly could be a splashable card. At 4-drop, it tends not to be, but I mean it is right on that borderline. And if you're looking at gumming up the ground, then it could be a Demure Charm. Kill my Higher Torture. It looks like we're gonna have to show the explosive impact, unfortunately. Interesting. So my opponent... Not too sure what my opponent's doing here. Maybe my opponent has the win in hand? Simic Manipulator. Maybe my opponent just thinks like, here we go, you're not going to be able to get through. But we do have the win in hand with all that, so... Really didn't want to show my opponent the last card, but we had to. Okay. Yeah. But you made me show it to you. So my opponent did really well in terms of once kind of got a little bit ahead with my mana sinks. I think he played correctly to try to get that win out, but I had the trump card in hand, which is why I played the way I did, knowing that I had that. Might have had a different line of play. Don't think, as always, or not as always, but just like the last match, I don't think I really have anything to get my opponent with, possibly Mind Rot, but there's really nothing I want to pull out. Yeah, we're good. Where are our spawns? Haven't seen those guys yet. So we'll keep it the same. I got a winky face from Donald. Thanks, Donald. Ooh. My opponent keeps. Unfortunately, I don't think I can keep. I think I need a 3-land. Yeah, having a 2-drop and then a soon 3-drop. This 3-drop is just so weak. We lose by not drawing lands. So yes, I want to mull. Oh, and yes, we're going to mull again. Hey, we'll keep, even though it's lame-o. Alright, let's see if we draw out of this ever. Well, that's a good way to start. So if my opponent doesn't do much, then I'm happy. Hey, I'm happy. Not happy that I do not have a Spike Jester to play now, but we'll have it next turn. My opponent has all colors and a lot of cards in hand. Fighting an uphill battle here. Okay. So what do we do? Well, I think we just get 3 points of damage in. I don't think the Cinder Elemental is going to be doing anything particularly wonky in the near future. So we'll just get our points of damage in before we can no longer do so. Spike Jester will pretty much trade off for anything that it allows me to, because Void Wielder, Corpse Blockade, just everything on the ground, this guy just does nothing. So we'll either trade with something that's putting a little bit of pressure on us, or, you know, draw a launch party and sacrifice it to something. Oh, Night Veil. How silly you are. Great card. That's going to have to get a Homing Lightning pretty soon. I'm glad my opponent wants to hold back, especially since we just drew Battle Shaper. Because that could really get us the game here. We're going to keep Homing Lightning up because I'm just going to kill Haunter ASAP. Hope that my opponent bashes in with both and then keeps the way free with Spike Jester. Yeah. I just read Spike Jester the Splash, yeah. My opponent's funny. He knows I'm not splashing it, but looking at this board state, that's what the case is. Making me laugh, Donald. Making me laugh. Spike Jester of the Splash. But that's what we were talking about, exactly what we didn't want to do, was the Splash. Alright, a little bit worried about the Zora's Allocators, but actually if we draw a land soon, we should be okay. This allows us to... You know, do I care more about the Flyer or the Boros? No, we care... about Homing Lightning. Just cuz. Alright. We really want to get our next land on board so that we can get Boros Battle Shaper down. I might even play a little conservatively since there's not a lot of pressure from my opponent and play the Aggressor first when I draw the next land, because my opponent might choose to take some hits and or removal used on it instead of this sweet little guy. A Mind Rot hurts pretty much to the bone right now should we get milled. Looks like we're still just taking 2 a turn. Oh! Taking 5 a turn. Unfortunately, we just have to take it with open mana. I'm not too sure if my opponent just wanted to offer the 2-for-1 or what, but maybe thinking that the Elcutors might just be killed this turn anyway because of the Cinder Elemental. I mean, more than likely my gameplay will be kill the Elcutors, or if I draw a land, play out one of my guys. Ooh, that's what I want is my lands. Yeah, and of course I was going to get the next one. Maybe I'll get a swamp now. Hey, there it is. Alright, so do I do what I just said? I think I do play the aggressor. Yeah. My opponent knows about that guy. I'm kind of worried about getting discarded, of course. But my opponent is in black, and I presume there's going to be some type of removal spell here. And we're not super worried about this 5-point coming through next. Possibly 7, especially if we're doing 9 right now. My opponent can either trade off the spy or just take a chump, but this 6 is going to do a whole lot for my opponent to rethink the battle strategy. Plus, with having Cinder Elemental up, with like doing another 6 to the face, my opponent is, without holding blockers and stuff back, is looking at lethal next turn, assuming my opponent chooses not to chump him in some way. So my opponent just went ahead and took all of it, which is interesting. There could be the tap spell, and my opponent might be thinking, alright, we're going to go ahead, we're going to grind lock everything down, and then win in 2 turns. Little does my opponent know about Boros Battle Shaper. Okay. We're F6. Yeah, it looks like a gridlock play is happening. Let's see if that's the case. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gets me up to 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. If gridlock comes down, which is the only thing my opponent could be playing right now. I mean, that's just what my opponent has. So let's just assume I get gridlocked next turn. In response, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 to the face to 2, but then I'm dead. So what I'd have to do is in response kill something. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I kill that 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then I'm at 11, and I kill the Elocutors, and then I can win on the crackback. Now if I play Boros Battle Shaper, I play it. My opponent taps everything down, so no one can attack or block. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I don't have a play. So what I have to do is save the Cinder Elemental to kill one of my opponent's creatures. Or I could just sacrifice now, take 4. I'd rather be in control of this and make my opponent show me something. Which is definitely going to be the gridlock. I presume gridlock here. Gridlock? Has to be gridlock. Oh, that's a pretty sweet play. Alright, so gridlock goes down. I, in response... Hold on. I just realized that this is like I drew the nut draw, because now what I can do... 1, 2, 3, 4. If I play the Boros Battle Shaper... I can... Up to one target creature attacks or blocks this common field, and up to one target creature can't attack or block. So I can make one dude not attack and make another dude have to attack into the Battle Shaper. I actually think that's better. And I even get to keep my Cinder Elemental for later. If my opponent has removal, then we're there. And that's what I was trying to play around before. So we make it so the Elocutors have to attack, and when the Flyers cannot attack, we'll eat the Elocutors and only take 2 damage. Yeah, he's... And I do think that Boros Battle Shaper is a beast and is overpowered. Yeah. He says he can still get me to 1. I'm not entirely sure how. Maybe he can tap down the Battle Shaper or something. I mean, you know, something I just realized is Void Wielder totally could have gotten me. Dang. Maybe that's... What a misplay, because I wouldn't have gone to combat. So if Void Wielder came down... Up to 1 target creature attacks... Place your treated... Okay. Must attack or block. Cannot attack or block. So what does my opponent have here? Ah. So a really nice opponent, even wished me good luck in the finals with that, and that's, I mean, kind of all you can do when an opponent plays the Battle Shaper against you. Because otherwise, yeah, my opponent was pretty well in control there, which makes sense. Having mulled down to 5, we just got into our 7 drops pretty handily. I was able to draw our lands and the most powerful spells. And because of that, we actually get to go to the finals. We had some pretty beefy stuff coming as well, having a Maze Abomination plus cycling a Clue Stone to get us to some more action later on. Alright, finals, here we come!